All right, we're back. Running backs, tight ends, Fantasy Pro Insider, True Fan Sports, the Warden, the Guru. Let's dive right into this thing here. Week 15, running backs. Number 1, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts. Number 2, Dalvin Cook. Man, did that man come back with the vengeance of that last week there. He's away against the Bears on a Monday night. Number 3, Austin Eckler. Keep an eye out there in Austin Eckler with the Thursday night game. May not play, so make sure that you've got Justin Jackson, Josh Kelly, right there by your add button to make sure that you can insert one of those guys into your lineup if needed. Number 5, Nick Chubb. 6, Najee Harris out of Pittsburgh. 7, Leonard Fournette. I like Leonard Fournette. He's doing some good things out there. Followed by number 8, my boy Cordell Patterson. Number 9, Joey Mixon. Number 10, James Conner, who is questionable right now, but he should be a goal away at Detroit. Number 11, Aaron Jones out of Green Bay. 12, David Montgomery. 13, Clyde Edward-Helaire out of Kansas City. 14, Josh Jacobs. We know he's going to play. He's got to earn that money. I think we all know why he's got to earn that money. Number 15, Ezekiel Elliott out of Dallas. I ain't gonna get into that, Guru.
Yeah,
That's for another story. I ain't gonna put him out there like that, man. That's my boy, the Raiders,
well, then allow
Yeah.
me. My man couldn't pull out of a driveway. He got some problems, man. Okay, so
All right, man.
we did with the 15 was Ezekiel with the Cowboys. Number 16, Saquon Barkley. He had the massive letdown the last couple of weeks, man. He needs to get it going to prove he's still got the elite talent. Sorry, injuries to carry us so far, but you had a dream matchup, and and I know the ostrich neck Mike Glennon doesn't help, but I mean, come on, man, find a hole and hit it. The offensive line is still pretty darn good, not great, but you got to start playing. You just have to. You're a top 3 talent. Plain and simple when you're doing right. He's not doing right. All right, number 17, Elijah Mitchell with the 49ers. So they play the Falcons. Great matchup for him. If he can get back healthy 100%. Number 18, Melvin Gordon of the Broncos. Even with Javonte Williams playing lights out, he's maintained the starting gig and he's still producing. Number 19, Rashad Penny. We'll talk about him a little bit later. The Seahawks at the Rams. Tough matchup, but he's going to get the bulk of the carries, so that's kind of an opportunities thing. He's going to be okay, I hope. Number 20, Antonio Gibson, the Washington football team. They got the Eagles. The Eagles are a pretty soft run defense, and he needs a bounce back game because he laid an egg last week as well. 21, Damian Harris of the Patriots coming off of a bye. Hopefully he's 100%. Number 22, Javonte Williams of the Broncos. Home against the Bengals. Number 23, Chuba Hubbard, the Panthers at the Bills. 24, Ramondre Stevens. He's a beast. Love watching this guy run the ball. The Patriots, and he's got the Colts. Tough matchup for both, actually, running backs, or all 3 running backs, or however you want to put it. 2 good defenses in that game. Number 25, Daryl Henderson, if he's back right. At their home against the Seahawks. 26, A.J. Dillon, the Packers. They're at the Ravens this week. Number 27, Sonny Michelle of the Rams. He's earned his way a big share of the carries, whether Henderson is healthy or not. He's played exemplary football for them down the last few games when their starter went down, so he's earned it. 28, Myles Gaskin of the Dolphins with a huge question mark on that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Devonte Foreman of the Titans. They're playing at the Steelers, and I will throw this out there. If you're in a point per reception league, you might want to lean towards the other guy there. Devonte Foreman is a nice guy to have between the 20s and in the red zone, but he's not a pass catcher. And number 30, Devonte Freeman of the Ravens rounds out the top 30, and they're playing home against the Packers. And then we will move ahead to the tight end rankings. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's official right now that George Kittle is your best tight end in fantasy right now.
Okay.
It's not even close. Travis Kelce can't carry his jock right now. Neither can anybody else. The numbers this guy's putting up is insane.
Right.
And they have a dream matchup. Falcons. They should carve them a new one. Number 2, Travis Kelce. He had the 2-point week yet again. I'm still so sick of seeing that guy not put up the numbers he used to. But then I see he's a little 100-something yards away from 1,000 yards, and I'm like, where's the fantasy production? How are you getting all these yards and nothing? Well, he's only got 5 touchdowns on the season. That doesn't help when the guy's used to putting up 12 to 15 touchdowns a year. And he's, every year he's been 12, 1,300 yards. So even though he's closing in on 1,000, he's definitely not putting up the numbers he's used to. Number 3, Rob Gronkowski of the Bucks. Home against the Saints. Number 4, Mark Andrews. He had a nice game even with Lamar Jackson going down this past week of the Ravens. Number 5, Darren Waller of the Raiders. Really love to see this guy get back healthy and on the field and producing like he did last year. And he's got the opportunity this week. The Browns they're tough up front, but they can be thrown against, and hopefully Waller comes through. Number 6, Dallas Goedert of the Eagles. Number 5, I'm sorry. Make that number 6. Wow. The teleprompter's going down here. Number 7 is Zach Ertz of the Cards. They're at the Lions. That's a dream matchup as well. Number 8, we have Dawson Knox. He played pretty well this week for the Bills. Number 9, Mike Gesicki of the Dolphins, home against the Jets. And rounding out the top 10, and I was hoping that he would be higher than this year, Kyle Pitts. All the talent in the world, but I don't think with the Falcons he's going to, maybe if Ridley comes back and, get some of the pressure off of him, there's a lot to ask out of a rookie tight end to carry your whole passing offense. So we'll give him a bye. We'll give him a break for now. We're definitely not going to call him overhyped yet because I think he's going to be a great one. But, with no other real offensive talent, I mean, Gage, not setting the world on fire. So that rounds out the top 10. Kyle Pitts, Falcons at 49ers.
Number 11, T.J. Hockenson out of Detroit. 12, Dalton Schultz, Cowboys. 13, Noah Fant out of Denver. 14, Hunter Henry, New England. This will be a good game this week away at the Colts. 15, Austin Hopper with the Browns. 17, Tyler Conkin with Minnesota. 17, Tyler Higbee with the Los Angeles Rams. 18, David Njoku with Cleveland. 19, Donald Passion with the Chargers. And your top 20 tight end rankings coming in at number 20 out of Cincinnati. They will be away at Denver Broncos, and that is C.J. Uzomah out of Cincinnati Bengals. There's your top tight end rankings, top 20 for Week 15 as we enter the playoffs. So, Guru, you got anything for them as these guys ready to start getting their lineups ready?
Well, I did want to touch on Rashad Penny for just a minute. Definitely a good move. I picked him up before the game started this week. And that's getting back to real quick. Even if you don't own Austin Eckler, it's playoff time. If your opponent or somebody else's opponent is counting on starting Austin Eckler and they don't have those 2 backups, you go snag one or both. You keep the points off the other people's lineups. You give yourself every opportunity to win, and you want everybody else. I don't know. Some people have to win, but you want to knock the competition out, plain and simple. And if you're playing against Austin Eckler, and whether you play one of the 2 backups or not, you're keeping points off their lineup. It gives you a leg up. So even if you don't own Austin Eckler, if you got room on your lineup, if you're still holding on to a Cortland Sutton or somebody that just came down with an injury, like see what happens with Hopkins. He can go on the IR maybe and open up some roster space. But pick one or both of them up if possible, and put yourself in a better position. But I want to talk again about Rashad Penny. Finally had a breakout game. As the Seahawks backfield looked as decimated as the Dolphins last week. And we'll talk some about the Dolphins here in a little bit because they were awful. Pete Carroll finally decided to trust Penny and gave him the bulk of the carries, and he was richly rewarded with the best output from a Seahawks running back this season. And it looks like he's going to maintain the starting position. He played so well. It'll be tough for Carroll not to ride Penny the rest of the way to see what he's got in the 2018 first-round pick to see where he figures into the team's future. Because if he can stay healthy, he obviously proved that he's got talent. Ripping off a couple of nice long runs, touchdown runs, and played very well. He had the majority of the snaps, he had the majority of the carries, and they looked good with him out there. So if you haven't picked him up, if he's still out there on the waiver wire, tough matchup this week, but definitely he's got two cream puffs. I can't off the top of my head remember who they are, but very, very light schedule for him the next 2 weeks. So if you are lucky enough to snag him, you may sit on him this week, but you'll definitely want to plug him in the next week for sure, because I think he's gonna be a monster down the stretch. Other thing, we were talking about Miami a little bit, Miami malaise, if you will, and we have no idea who's actually going to be available week 15 at the running back position. I mean, we have no idea. Anybody can guess at the moment. It appears to be Duke Johnson. He has the best shot because he's the only one that's uninjured, but he hasn't been with the team very long. I think he's only been on the practice squad. I don't even think he's been active yet. With Myles Gaskin, Philip Lindsay, and Salvon Ahmed all in the COVID-19 protocol, but Gaskin's got an ankle injury as well. So even if Gaskin gets out of the protocol, he's still got the ankle to deal with. Malcolm Brown's been nursing a lower leg injury. He's due to come off of the injured list. So he may be available this week. And then you have Patrick Laird, who is he's on the IR, so he's not even an option at this point. So that's 5 running backs that are all injured from Miami, and it's just you got to pay attention close to this one because I believe they got the Jets this week.
Okay,
and that'll be a nice matchup for whoever does get to start, whether it's Johnson, Duke Johnson, whether it's not Laird, forgive me, Malcolm Brown, former Ram. So either one of those two should be in line for the start. See who gets it. See who's getting them. Pick them up. It'll help you this week. Advance the playoffs. Play the Jets defense, who just everybody runs on them. But we just have to figure out who's going to be the one that's going to be active because we don't know. There could be several active, but most of these guys are just laying out there on the waiver wire anyway.
Right.
With the exception of maybe Gaskin. The rest of them are probably waiver fodder, and it's going to be a good plug, pick and plug, if you get lucky enough to get the guy that starts. So keep that in mind also. And that's all I got. You got any running backs out there that jump out at you this week that maybe flew under the radar?
No, I don't have any that jump out this week. You know what I mean? We've got some good matchups with some guys out there. So I'm keeping my eyes out there in Denver. You know what I mean, with Javonte and Melvin Gordon. Even though Melvin Gordon's back healthy, every once in a while that guy leaves the game. So he's, like you said, an Austin Eckler, Josh Jackson type of guy. Where I picked up, Javonte Williams. Because of what he's doing. And he still had a pretty good week last week, even though Melvin Gordon probably got him with points. Javonte Williams is a guy you want to have in your lineup. You know what I mean? He's still a guy he's still a third down back as well, catching balls out the backfield and everything. So I'll be watching that as well. Another matchup I'll be keeping my eyes out on. Well, not matchup, but another team I'll be keeping close eyes to is Los Angeles Rams. Even though Daryl Henderson will be back, Sonny Michelle has put up the last 2 weeks. He's put up some pretty good numbers to be able to control that that run game that Sean McVay has been trying to get back to for the longest, even though they've got some great receivers out there and a good quarterback in Matthew Stafford. They got to control that line of scrimmage, especially as we're getting closer to the playoffs. So Sonny Michelle is
Yeah,
a guy that you want to keep an eye out as well, and have someone you need to have him rostered. If not,
yeah,
just in case Darrell goes down again.
the best way to keep that defense fresh is to keep moving the chains. Have your running backs keep moving the chains, keep the ball alive in the offense's hand. Um, you've seen how Donald finished that game the other day with a couple of sacks because they were well rested because Michelle kept the ball in the offense's hand, and they were a demon at the end of that game. Man, they were just swarming. But the whole defense was well rested. That last drive, it was going nowhere. It
Mm-hmm.
was just they kept moving them back. That said, I would like to have folks keep an eye on Amir Abdullah from the Panthers. A couple weeks ago, he was right up there. Him and Hubbard were splitting carries, and he outplayed him. I don't know what the issue was this past week with him, but it could very well be that he's up there at least in a timeshare. And if he outplays him this week, then he may move ahead of him on the depth chart. You don't know. Ramondre Stevens is another one. If Harris is nursing an ankle injury, if he's limited and not able to play, he's a top 10 running back for sure. He's a must start. That's the situation. There's somebody else out there. Other than James Conner's injury, I did want to touch on this. Did it appear, if you watch much of the Falcons game, did it appear that Mike Davis had a little bit of a resurgence there, and at least a better game than he's had this year?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's not getting the hint that he might end up getting cut at the end of this year,
Mm-hmm.
his 3-year contract might go out the window if he's not picking the. I mean, if you get replaced for the bulk of the season by a kick returner that doesn't have much experience as a running back, your time might be limited, and maybe somebody filled him in because he was running like he had some newfound energy, and that's welcome at this time of year. I'm not saying rush out and pick him up, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Because almost everybody's given up hope on Mike Davis, and I'm one of them. I can't stand the way the guy's played. It makes me sick because he was well hyped with that season that he had in Carolina last year, coming to the Falcons. No one expected Calvin Ridley to go south the way he did. Nobody expected uh, Matt Ryan to start showing signs of age so quick. But that said, he should have been able to shoulder the load, and he fell apart miserably. But last week may be an indication, just something to keep an eye on as the playoffs progress. If you get somebody hurt and he keeps playing well, then take a chance. Other than that, I think that's all we got going
That's
into
all
week
we
15.
got, man. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Fantasy Pro Insider True Fan Sports Week 15. That right there was your running backs and tight end rankings. Be sure to make sure you watch both videos so that you can be sure that you get the best insight to make sure that you insert the right guys into your lineups this week. Playoffs this week, so good luck to all of you. I'll be chilling out on my bye week this week, so I'll be, sitting to the side watching you guys get in this week. But that's all here from the Warden. Last words, Guru.
Last words. Best of luck this weekend.
Okay.
It's time now to if you do have any questions whatsoever, Ward and I are here for you. We want you to don't feel bashful. Call right in. Send us a question. We will help. We'll do what we can and try to help you make a right decision so you can advance in the playoffs. That's why we're doing this. It's why we're here. We're not doing this for our benefit. We love fantasy football. We love helping people out. So hopefully we give you some information that moves you to the next level. That said, best of luck. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share it, man. Let everybody else know. And we will talk to you week 16 after you pull a W.
Peace.